up on a chair once to actually change it because it was.
Did you really?
Yeah, because it was ridiculous. Like it was. We manage your height when we can. All right, there it is, 5:15. Let's call this meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge.
United States of America. Nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could do the roll, please.
Tobin,
Here.
Brennan,
Here.
Ness, Taylor, Bomer,
Here.
Davila. Here. Heiberger.
Here. All right, do we have any recusals for the evening? No. Okay. With that, if we would do the consent.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If an item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar.
Thing that anyone would like to pull off? Okay. Approve.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Thank you. Anything from the public to pull? Okay, back to the board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so we have no unfinished business. So new business, first up, consideration of scheduling a public hearing.
So we're here to talk about the metal melting time of use rate. It's the last rate for us to adopt to conform with time of use rates. As we start out all our presentations with our strategic foundation, our mission and vision statement, this really aligns with our financial excellence with our strategic plan. So a few of us, Jake, Colin, and I have worked closely with our key account on this rate over the past several years to evaluate the best option for the utility to maintain its cost of service while also providing the correct price points for our customers within this time of use rate. The time of use rate includes a separate distribution demand charge, which is over a 24-hour period, the peak demand, so we can recover our infrastructure costs, our lines and poles and so forth. And then also it has an on-peak capacity demand charge to make sure we cover our generation costs. We removed this customer had a demand ratchet, so what that meant is that if they had a peak demand 1 month, they were billed that peak demand for 12 months. We removed that because that doesn't obviously incentivize the customer to improve their peak demand. And costs are typically driven for large industrials by their peak demand and not energy. So that's why we kind of focus on demand costs with this rate structure. So we have winter on peak, off peak. It follows our similar time of use from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then summer is 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. with the summer months being June, July, September, and October. June, July, August, and September. This rate afforded them the opportunity to manage costs through scheduling and staggering startups rather than having to shift large loads entirely, and basically avoiding them to create a high peak demand. This is the total cost by rate. It's similar to our other time of use rates where they will receive higher costs during the summer, reflecting the higher cost of our energy that we pass through. But if you look at the annual rate comparisons, it's just an annual percentage change of 1% over the current rate structure. And that's how we structured our other time of use rates, is to be relatively revenue neutral and not impact our customers with excess costs, but also give them the ability to change their behavior to save costs. And that's all I had. Be happy to answer any questions on it.
Just a quick question. Is that 1% increase, is that covering our costs, increased costs as well? Or are we seeing a dip in our costs with that? Does that make sense? Are we, is that covering inflation essentially?
Yeah, so this is like the base rate charge, so it covers our service. So if we see inflation costs with the purchase power costs, we have a variable cost that would be passed through to them on that. And we do a cost of service every 5 years to make sure we're covering our costs. So based on the last cost of service, we are recovering those costs.
Thank you.
But also more specifically, the rest of the rate base is not subsidizing this adjustment, if that is kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you.
I understand this is a fairly small number of customers, and I'm just curious about the like kind of encouraging them to, or if there's a program ready to communicate with them about this, to encourage them to get onto the time of use rate or anything like that you can share plan-wise.
Yeah, we've had several meetings with them over the past couple years. We've looked at alternative time of use structures. We've looked at alternative demand response programs, potentially utilizing some generators they have. So we've had several conversations with them, and then we came to agreement on this rate for it to be the best for the utility to cover the cost of service and for them to respond.
It's really one customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
I know, yeah.
Are they, is the main customer in the city of
Yes.
Traverse City? Interesting. Okay.
Is this a case, speaking of demand response, where with the recent agreement with MPPA, and that, is this a customer that we anticipate will be signing up for that and as another way of helping them mitigate?
They are exploring it.
Yeah.
I don't think they've signed on yet for sure.
They haven't signed on yet. They are exploring it because they have multiple locations with us. But they also implemented their own demand response program internally. It's not so much a demand response as it is a demand leveling program. But they are taking action themselves as well. So we've been talking to them in depth for quite some time now about different options.
Great. Okay, there is a suggested motion up there.
The motion. I move that the Light and Power Board tentatively approve the rate adjustment and authorize the Secretary to set a public hearing for the August 2026 billing rate adjustment to be held at the April 14th, 2026 regular meeting, and further that a notice of the public hearing be posted on the utility's website and placed in the Traverse City Record Eagle.
Second.
Anything from the public? All right, any other questions or items from the board? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great,
Thank you.
see you again in April. Next up, he's already going. Thanks, Jake. Consideration approving a project authorization and contract with Keene.
All right, so this is a project that we've been working on for some time as well. Exploring different options, what would make the most sense, and looking at grant opportunities. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find any grants that would allow us to proceed with this, so we have decided to proceed ourselves. And utilize Hull Street, a very centralized location in downtown, as a great demonstration opportunity for both solar and battery. So, as Carla stated, with all of our presentations, our mission and vision, and the great thing about this project is how closely it fits in with our mission and vision and what we're looking to do. So a quick breakdown of what we actually had for a bid, and that's 46 kilowatts of canopy solar. So this canopy will go along the parking spots that are right next to the building, I guess north side of that parking lot down at Hall Street. It would give covered parking for customers, which is another great advantage to it. We'll have the bifacial modules on these, which will help to actually produce more power than a standard with the inverter, and then a 15 kilowatt hour battery. So the battery's small. It's not meant to really help power a lot, but it is great piece for the demonstration. You'll see why in a little bit. So this is a picture of inside of Hall Street, and as you enter into the customer service area to the right, if you've been in there, you'll notice there was a blank wall. Well, that blank wall was for this specifically, and it's been blank for a couple of years now. So we'd like to put, there's a 65-inch television that's going to go up there, a kiosk, and then that's where the battery will be as well. So customers can actually see it. We want them to be able to actually see what this looks like, not just say, hey, here's a picture of it, but this is the actual battery. So that 65-inch display is going to have a split screen and be able to display real-time monitoring, actually show you the numbers from the solar array and the battery itself. There is going to be some interactive component to it, hence the kiosk where someone could come in and maybe click a button or play around with it. The exact details of how that's going to interact, how it's going to work, we have to go through still, but it is part of the proposal. So here's the layout in the parking lot, and sorry, not the greatest pictures, but it at least gives you an idea. So right along the north end of that parking lot at Hall Street, kind of aligns the building 3 panels deep, so it's going to give quite a bit of coverage for vehicles. But it's also right there for people to see, which is the whole purpose of this demonstration project. As I talked about in the beginning, this project strikes a lot of marks with our priorities, our mission, our vision. It's really giving the community a place to go to learn about solar and battery storage and do it in an interactive way instead of just reading something on a website. We wanted it to be front and center, be very highly visible, so we can bring our community down. They can learn from it. They can ask questions. Hopefully contractors will utilize it and they can show off what solar and battery can do. It's really an educational opportunity for everyone. So this is the evaluation criteria that we utilized when we went through the bids. We received 4 bids in total, and then narrowed it down to Keene, who was the winning bidder. They had the best demonstration by far of all of the bids that were there. It wasn't the largest solar array of all of them, but it was really close, and the size of it wasn't really the main goal of this project. So we went with Keene because of that demonstration piece that we thought was very important for this project and the main purpose for it. You can see there's a little snapshot of what a dashboard might look like. It's not going to be exactly like that, but just a really cool idea of what you might be seeing when you walk into our customer service center. So here are the numbers that we got from Keene, and like I stated, this involves every aspect of the project that we were looking for, including the demonstration. We had budgeted $200,000 for this project in the last fiscal year. In meeting with Carl and Tony, we were able to find additional funding to make up the difference, so we are able to cover that internally. And that's it. Any questions? Yes.
Will the inverter and disconnect be on the building, on the same wall that the screen is on the inside?
I want to put everything right there for
And
everyone to see.
Would there
Yes.
be some sort of, so you've got the inverter, the disconnect, and maybe like a sign that says, come on inside and find out more, or like, will there be signage outside that kind of helps connect what's happening outside to inside?
They do have some money in their budget for signage. We haven't talked specifically of what that signage is going to do, but I'd like to have something on the outside too that says, hey, see more, or learn
Right,
more about this
right.
inside. Yes, yeah.
And will the staff who work in that facility be able to answer questions? Will they be kind of trained about interacting with people if they want something more?
We usually try to make certain that the customer service reps are kind of like generally brief so that they can at least do kind of like a quick and dirty conversation.
Yeah.
And then if there needs to be like a little bit more of a deep dive, they'll know how to do a referral.
Yeah.
But that's for like all of our programs and things that we have going on. Yeah. I don't see this being any different.
Fun. I
It
mean,
is.
like little
Yeah.
tiny field trips, little school field trips, you know?
Yeah.
I know that's not a very big space in that foyer, but
No, but if you could
Still.
do little groups at a time,
Yeah.
it would be really cool. Yeah.
And is the power generated, is that going to be fed to the building?
Right into the building.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just going to be generally fed into the main building.
Okay.
There's not a ton coming from it, but it will help.
Same true for the batteries in terms of it basically being, it's not going to be a, like time of use rate mitigation where like for peak hours in the summer, we're gonna use those 15 kilowatt hours. No, okay, so it's pure backup then.
Not at this size, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not very much. There may be an opportunity to integrate in with the charging stations. It's been looked at. The nice thing is we have options down there, but right now the purpose is to just feed into the building for a secondary.
I think one of the reasons I think some of us, or, I don't want to read into others' questions, but like, we'll have these modules or like the kind of, but it would be really nice to be able to say like, and so this is offsetting this emissions too, or like something around there. And do you anticipate we'll be able to share some of those numbers? Or I think part of what I'm like thinking about is there's opportunities to do demonstration projects that might have like a more specific impact on the climate goals as well. And so I'm trying to balance that with some of the other organizational goals for something that we're, covering without a separate grant or anything like that.
We'll add that.
Yeah.
Or emissions impact.
Part of the dashboard.
Yeah.
Like-
And does that feel like it'll be significant comparatively to other types of demonstration projects that might, or placements of demonstration projects?
I
Yeah.
would, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I would say a 46 kilowatt display or array is probably similar to, probably even larger. Tony, you could speak better than what you'd see at a residence.
Yeah, I think the largest one in residence is maybe 20 kW, so it's over twice the size of a residence one. It's probably average size for most commercial businesses that we see.
Yeah, so really it is giving like a general idea of what you could do either at your home or a small business. But having the offset would be part of the dashboard and of course whatever it is producing.
Yeah, great.
We'll make certain that we update some literature and materials that allows individuals to have a relative perspective of like what it actually means. And the grand scheme of our portfolio, it's one piece of that pie.
Yeah.
But it takes 100 pennies to equal $1, so.
Right.
Yeah, and I think particularly on the battery side, because if it is truly only going into the building, thankfully, from everyone's hard work, we have high reliability. So featuring a backup system for customers that thankfully, and continue to knock on wood, isn't a big deal. So if it can be, highlight other opportunities with the battery, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Buried before the presentation, there is unless it's on your next slide, then I missed it.
It's
okay.
in the memo.
It's in the memo. There is a suggested motion, page 133, if you're counting.
I'll make the motion that the Light and Power Board approve the project authorization and authorizes the executive director to execute a contract with Keen Technical Solutions in the amount of $248,065.32, more or less subject to the review as to substance by the executive director and as to form by general counsel.
Second.
Great. Anything from the public? Okay. Back to the board. Any other questions or?
I will say
comments?
Keen does good work. We use them at Beta. They installed all of the solar on the rooftop of Beta's facility out on Lafreniere, and I think the estimated savings in just cost per year for the electric buses is about $75,000 offset to the taxpayer. So and the millage payer. So it's a pretty good savings. So I think this is a good project. I would just want to make sure we focus on it in our marketing, that, commercial customers, come check this out. This is what you can do by covering, 10 parking spots in your parking lot, and save yourself X amount of dollars over the time frame, or charge your electric fleet. I don't know how many electric cars it could charge, but whatever that looks like, we should be marketing it and showing it off as much as possible.
We will. I mean, I have to say, since I started here in '22, there's a number of nonprofit community partners that have been, I'm going to use the word craving, that's my word, for us to actually have solar covered parking, because it is a waste of impervious space. And so we've been waiting, we're trying to wait for some grant dollars, and I think being able to take advantage now is just where we are. I mean, obviously we wanted to prioritize that for affordability, and it's still an affordable option, but I am excited because it will hopefully lead to more opportunities at other institutions that are local to let them know, like, this is what it does, this is what it looks like, and maybe we can even have an opportunity where we can get some aggregate purchasing, which even makes it even more affordable.
Right.
So this is just, I add emphasis that it is truly a demonstration opportunity just to show others, like, how it can be done.
I also think it's important and great that it's cantilevered. I think that relative to all things snow plowing,
Yeah.
the fact that people can see this working as a cantilevered structure goes a long way.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think we could have gotten by with anything else, to be honest. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
All right. If there's nothing else, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Demonstration project coming soon. All right, nothing from legal. From staff, budget highlights, starting with Carla.
So Carla, you drive the first couple slides? Okay, all right. So consistent with, so where we are, I would say, in our planning journey is usually before I propose a budget to you, I try to let you know what type of ideas that we have that we're looking at budget planning wise. And this is really our opportunity to be transparent. We want to engage and really have available, so this information will be available obviously to the public as well. And so the mission here is still aligned with still being that community partner, but that we're continuously looking to innovate and invest forward. Obviously, there's core operational things that we do need to maintain, and we'll always make certain that we're covering that in the budget presentation. But for this presentation, I'd like you to get a sense of really what we're investing forward, like what are some ideas changing wise. My goal is, and Carly can go to the next slide, is that, you know, what you'll glean from this over the next few months is that you see still strategic plan alignment, there's cost management. I mean, the team works really hard and starts planning towards budget planning, actually, quite frankly, like November and December of the following year. Carla still does a cash flow projection lens, which you'll see more of that detail at the next meeting. But the objective is to make certain that we're investing forward, but we're also taking into account that there are some retirements that are coming about in the organization, which is normal. And so some of the things that we're looking at investing in are just positioning ourselves as well to be able to handle those things. And then I'll hand it over to Carla, and Carla's going to go through the ideas that we have right now that we pulled together as it relates to the strategic plan.
Okay. So this slide highlights our efforts around community enrichment and how we support the community. The first under education and resource guidance. Recently, Jake's team has issued a request for proposal to look for a third party to assist us in outreach and education for the utilities decarbonization goals. Additionally, we did a request for qualifications to allow us to provide a resource for customers to help them achieve their own personal decarbonization goals by providing a list of trusted professionals. Second, we are closely working with the city to explore initiatives of energy storage opportunity at the water plant and fleet consulting. Finally, we are proposing a new communications and marketing manager position. This new position will support all 6 strategic priorities through effective internal and external communications, while also playing a vital role in the organization transitions towards more competitive sales relating to the lit fiber utility. Overall, these efforts helps us build stronger partnerships, improve access to information and resources, and better connect with our community. The second strategic priority focuses on enhancing the overall customer experience. We recently issued a proposal to engage a third-party administrator to administer the LEHAP and Customer Cares program to support our ratepayers that need assistance to cover their utility costs while keeping these funds local. We are also implementing recommendations from the customer satisfaction survey to improve digital customer engagement for the purpose to increase awareness of the utilities programs and services available to our customers. We are also acting on recommendations from an operational gap assessment. This work focuses on improving internal processes so we can deliver more efficient, responsive, and consistent service to our customers. Our third strategic is employee excellence. At the core of everything we do is people, therefore it is very vital that we invest in them. Under employment satisfaction, the first bullet, we are creating a workplace where employees feel supported, heard, and equipped to success. Next, skills, knowledge, and abilities, we are focusing on professional development. That includes leadership development, expanding knowledge, and building capability. Additionally, we are strengthening business continuity and succession planning to ensure we are ready for the future. Additionally, we're engaging in change management to give us structure and consistency on the way to manage transactions effectively. Under compensations and wages, we're engaging a third party to ensure we remain competitive and equitable with our salaries. Lastly, a new position to enhance our focus on safety, compliance, and employee well-being. The fourth strategic priority is operational and financial excellence. Focus here is strengthening our internal operations, maintaining financial stability, and ensure long-term service reliability for the utility. So best-in-class focus on maintaining high standards across our operations to ensure we remain competitive and efficient with the examples listed in the presentation. We continue to progress in the smart grid maturity and deployment. This work involves planning for improved asset utilization so all TCL&P customers can benefit from the modern grid. And we continue to further evaluate opportunities of the dark fiber assets that we already have. Next is financial stability and renewable. We want to ensure our pricing supports operational sustainability. We're updating our financial policies to ensure alignment with evolving regulatory and organizational needs. Infrastructure and operation resilience, which includes substation maintenance, which helps ensure the reliability and longevity of our infrastructure system. continue to invest in vegetation management to minimize our risk of outages, and we are advancing building and facilities planning relating to the Sustainability Innovation Campus to support future operation and innovation goals. Overall, this ensures that our operations, financial structure, infrastructure, and workforce remain strong, resilient, and positioned for further growth. The fifth strategic priority is technology transition. And this will ensure our technology environment continues to evolve in a way that supports operational efficiency for the utility. First, we are developing a technology strategic plan, and this will align closely with the corporate strategic plan and help guide our annual operating plans, clearly defining our technology roadmap and make sure investments and initiatives are coordinated, intentional, and supports the overall organization priorities. The second focus is technology platform assessment. This involves reviewing our current systems and platforms we rely on to determine how effectively they are performing and identify opportunities and optimization. Next, conducting an operational technology assessment. So this work will focus on evaluating and planning improvements to the specialized tools used to operate and manage electrical systems, such as our SCADA system. And finally, to support proper oversight of our system infrastructure, we're planning a senior network engineer position. This is critical for our broadband services to ensure reliability, capacity planning, and secure connectivity. Highlights of the sixth strategy is environmental sustainability, which focuses on reducing environmental impact while supporting reliable energy to our customers. One of our first steps is to have a third party conduct a decarbonization baseline assessment. It will provide data to help us better understand our current emissions and then allow us to identify opportunities to reduce our carbon intensity, along with set measurable goals and track progress. Another focus is we are issuing demand response proposal along with energy storage, which will allow customers to reduce or shift energy using during peak demand period, which helps improve our grid reliability and efficiency and reduce our costs passed through to our customer. We're also looking at a couple opportunities to go beyond the current 40% renewable benchmark in our clean and renewable energy goals. A key component is also to continue with the work outlined in the Climate Action Plan with some of those laid out in this slide, such as energy portfolio, rate designs, customer programs, and so forth. And finally, we are incorporating sustainability into our long-term infrastructure planning through the Sustainable Innovation Campus. This includes microgrid and renewable generation, preserving the natural areas at the Cedar Run, and integrating advanced technology planning into the campus design, with the purpose to demonstrate innovation and environmental sustainability. That's all I had. Be happy for questions.
Question? Yeah.
Please.
5.5 new full-time employees. Is that what I read correctly?
I think it's 2.5.
2.5.
I mean, no, that was in, there's like 3 slides.
Network engineer,
Yeah.
operational and financial excellence, so 2.5, and then HR compliance, new FTE, and marketing manager, new FTE.
There's a couple, yeah.
Okay.
That sounds right. Yeah,
Okay.
looks right from what's in the.
Is that essentially a budget lift, or are those being funded through attrition? I'm just curious.
So one of them is dealing with a potential anticipated retirement.
Okay.
Another is a matter of descoping a project
I
that
see.
we have a third party working on.
Okay.
And then others are filling in where we're kind of falling behind.
Okay.
So it does involve obviously a financial lift,
Mhm.
but they're filling in where we're having some gaps.
Okay. Are those? Do we anticipate those people being additional hires, like actual new hires, or just new positions where people will move into?
New hires.
New hires.
But
Okay.
we always post internally.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Yeah. Hopefully we can promote from within.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I mean, I always just so appreciate how y'all present this information in chunks and grounded in the strategic plan that we're all very engaged with and bought into. And one thing that I'm just curious about is if there's you know, it's so great to have everything like fit nicely into the strategic priorities. And if there's anything we should anticipate or any way you're thinking about stuff that just like doesn't nicely fit into that, but you have to address. And so I'm just curious if there's like that process-wise, how you go about thinking like beyond the strategic plan, or if there's anything you all want to highlight for us in terms of what we should be anticipating or looking for as well.
Let me give that some thought. I feel like you did such a great job with the strategic mission and vision. Like when we go through and analyze everything, it's it's falling. The question is whether or not it's fitting more than one strategic objective.
Right.
I think there are some opportunities where we're looking at, let's say, retirements. That doesn't necessarily fit a strategic objective, but it definitely supports risk management, employee excellence, things like that. That would be like an example. But most of the things that we're investing in are mission forward and focused.
Okay. And then my other question, I think we're just living in a time of cost of living is raising for a lot of things. And so as you get to the next stage of presenting the budget and like just how we continue to think about how we maintain really as affordable as possible rates for our customers. I know we're some of the best in the state. We want to continue to be, but this is like a time really for all of us to be thinking about how do we keep things as affordable as possible. So I know that's on your mind and you always think strategically about cost containment, but it's just it's going to be on everyone's mind more and more too.
Absolutely. We'll make certain too. I think when we update and present the presentation, we speak to affordability in terms of how that's, usually we kind of touch on energy burden, and I think we can factor that into our materials when we present that.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see as part of that, the utilization of the rate comparison tool. Like poster child, last night I finally remembered to actually take care of that for myself and looked at the rate comparison tool and then switched to TOU rates. So I don't know how many people have done that to be able to see as a reference point of like, hey, if I take this simple step after looking at this great presentation of information and save money immediately just by sending an email.
We're still fine tuning that too. So I think what we'll do is we'll maybe wrap that into, like, when we share the information for the budget, maybe we can package that and send that out as information so customers know how to take a look at that to help manage.
Yeah.
Great.
So you were on the calculator, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, somebody came and presented to my neighborhood, and I realized I should have done it then, but that was last meeting, and so finally.
I like it.
I think that affordability piece is a really good point, and I think that having some control over it with the time of use is even better.
Yep. Yeah.
Control.
It helps. And when there's ways that Light and Power recovers our costs, et cetera, but how do we make sure that we're using public resources really wisely and passing on cost containment wherever possible too?
Absolutely. Yep, it goes back to the mission. So, I mean, going back to the mission slide, Carla, if you want to just go back to that, that's going to continue to be the driver, is being able to deliver affordable options and solutions for our customers.
Cool. Oh, this is great.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. All right. Last up, Kelly with the annual report.
I don't really have much to say. You saw it in the packet. Every year we do an annual report. It's getting better and better each year. But just a